Oh, I don't know, whoever.
Oh, okay. I got two questions. I think you addressed one. Am I supposed to stand?
No, do whatever.
Pause, yeah.
Keep it
I'm
casual.
nervous enough. Last week, I think you addressed, I live in Winston, the water at the fire department was being removed. Is that handled? Are they gonna leave it alone?
Why don't you give your name first of all for the,
Oh, Regina Peterson, I'm sorry.
uh,
You don't read minds.
I guess I'll just turn that right over to Ed.
Oh, I
You
met
talked,
you the other
you talked
day.
with, what's his name, right afterwards, I guess. and-
Yes, that issue's been taken care of. They have not taken water out of the one at the fire hall for quite some time. I went and checked the water, it's still where I left it. And we have to fill that tank by a truck, so I know that nothing's been taken out of there. And I did talk to them, they will be getting water from someplace else till we get everything situated, so, yeah, it's been taken care of.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, come to my attention, I mean, it's all, we all gossip among ourselves, so I just wanted to know.
You can't fill that one at the fire hall from the well, a well that'll fill it?
No.
There is no well.
The well that was drilled there for that fire hall was drilled on the wrong property. So it's Rick Deals and it goes to his house there that Matt lives in.
Oh,
We do have access to the water for the building and a hydrant outside. If we absolutely have to, we can run a hose over to it, but that's it. So, yeah, I'm not sure who developed that site, but wasn't very thought out very well. So, yeah.
What about the, I don't know what it is up above there, is that just a storage thing, or is there a well on Mountain West?
Mountain West has its own well.
And that's their own water, or,
No, it's fire department water.
oh, good.
Yeah.
It's nice to get it straight from the horse's mouth, what
Yeah,
we're doing
yeah.
out there. Okay. And then my second issue of, am I interrupting?
No,
no, go ahead.
you got the floor.
Is there anything we can do to slow down the traffic on Weasel Creek Road? It's crazy, it's dusty, it's so rutted and horrible. And we've got all these big trucks going up and down and trailers, and please, can we slow it down? Even some law enforcement presence, something, anything.
There's no, is there a posted speed limit on it now? Probably
There
not.
is, but it's way down by the city. So by the time they get past my house, they're doing 50, 60 miles an hour. And it's just, the dust is unreal, and it's so chock-hold and stuff right now. And some of us like to walk, and I don't even dare ride my Harley on it anymore, it's so bumpy, but it's the dust, and the inconsiderate drivers will get right on your butt, and they want to pass. And so therefore, some of us stubborn old people, we go slower, but, so, but is there anything? At one time, we had a cattle guard, and that really helped, but I know nobody wants to do that anymore.
Was it different or better when Deputy Anderson lived in your neighborhood?
It was, yeah, because we did see the police, and I think he picked up a few, now and so.
Yeah, some of your neighbors have commented that having him there really made a difference. I was wondering if you had the same perspective. We could certainly take the minutes with your public comment to the sheriff and ask for, let him know of your comments. There's been others. There was an email that was sent
Okay, that
on
would
the
be
same
great.
subject.
And if we could post another sign or slow it down, I know they won't obey it, but it's there. I'm sorry I'm whining, but it's,
You're not.
Okay.
You're not. This is public safety, and it's an important issue.
well,
So I
it
thank
is.
you for bringing
And
it
we all
forward.
have pets out there and stuff, so.
Yeah.
so, no, I
Yeah, we
think-
can definitely talk to the road supervisor about the signs. And you guys, if you wanted, can also get those children at play signs and put them out.
There's a couple of those out and they just whoosh by them,
Yeah, darn it.
but, yeah.
There was a report on the news the other night that communities are starting to buy their own blue lights. And just having those run, they're solar powered, actually reduces people's speed because the blue lights instantly make you slow down and pay better attention.
Really, where do you
Yeah.
get those?
I don't know yet. I haven't had a chance to look into it. I just saw it this weekend, so I will do some looking price it out, see if maybe that's a tool we can use to help.
And it would be legal, it wouldn't be an eye blinding thing.
I shouldn't be so quick to say yes, I think so, it was legal in, was it Boise, I think?
Something about
Don't
blue
know
lights.
where.
Yeah, I'm not sure. on blue
Yeah,
lights.
I'm not either.
I know why they're doing the blue lights, because that's law enforcement, but I'm not,
But they're not flashing.
And it might be okay in Idaho, but not here.
yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was an innovative idea,
'Cause
Cop car parked there.
I know a
right?
fireman one time, his running lights were blue and they got after him right away. So
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's years ago, so.
Well, I think it's
Oh.
still illegal on vehicles, but if it
Yeah.
were just a light system, could it work? I don't know.
Well, there's a
We'll
sign
look
up by
into
East Helen that's got the blue lights flashing, and it slows everybody going across that overpass there between Helen and East Helen, and all it is on a sign,
Wow.
so they might not be.
To check into
Yeah.
that. Okay,
We'll
thank
do
you.
some homework.
Anything else? Or-
No, but I'm
Okay.
Snoopy, can I listen?
No?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your comments.
Well, thank you for listening.
Any other public comment?
I've got a little bit.
Go ahead.
The Tri-County Fire Safe Working Group has got a presentation tomorrow night in Helena. It's called the Era of Mega Fires. And one of you guys was on the list. I don't know how you got there. Laura's name was on there to come up and be a representative for the county in the question and answer afterwards. So I don't know if anybody can make it. I didn't realize I was supposed to be the one contacting you until Friday night, so that made it a little tough to find you guys, so. But if somebody can make it, that's fine. It'll be at 7 o'clock at the Myrna Loy. I will be there for sure, so if I can help out in any way.
I have another meeting.
In the Conservation District.
You got moved to next week.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Oh, that's why Daryl's going now.
Makes sense. Fires are kind of a timely subject.
Yeah. So that's all I got. If somebody can make it, that's fine. It'll be, like I said, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Okay,
Alrighty.
thanks, Ed.
Yep.
Got a COS,
Good morning.
morning.
I don't really have a COS for review, but I have what, of the Placer Cemetery, what we have done so far.
Oh, okay.
And what I was gonna ask from you, these are all the existing graves and monuments on each side. And what I was considering was building a loop road with some smaller passes through there, and then filling these areas in with new grave sites. I could also put some along here. And I guess we could add some down here, down the road or something, or for, there's some specific families here.
Okay.
But I wanted you to be able to look at it and kind of give me a green light before I, spend time laying those out. And so you can take a week and look at it and let me know, or if you know now. But I can leave this for you guys to
I would
look
say
at.
Kind of give her a green light to go ahead, then we check it after you come through with whatever you decide. I would,
Bernadette,
from what you said, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
for the area where you said there's some family areas, would it be possible to maybe block off some sections for family? Or, like you said, just leave it open with a note? So that we don't get an individual thrown in the middle of a family
Mm-hmm.
plot.
Yeah, we definitely could, over here, some, like a family headstone, let's see, the Gillis Monument is right here, and most of these are Gillis family members. And then there was some fencing here for a family. and just a fence around one there,
Okay,
which was a Gillis family also. So, we could just, make a row right here that family members or whatever, the county could reserve those, I guess, or save those for later, or special requests or whatever.
sure, yeah,
And then that's why I thought just do like right here down the center with general
I like that,
monuments.
yeah.
Because, and there are a lot of, some other family members, family groups, from Winston in these sections here. And this area here was from Beaver Creek Cemetery. And then this was originally the Miners Union, supplied grave sites for their employees and their family.
Oh, interesting.
And so most of these are old miners, and then these and a bunch of these are mostly Winston family members.
So those ones from Beaver Creek was a Beaver Creek Cemetery, what's now under the lake?
Correct. Yes. And they were moved in the 50s before the lake flooded.
Yeah, I like your idea of doing the middle section and then kind of leaving the others for complimentary,
And historic.
right? Yeah,
Because it's been used as recently as in the early 2000s and the 1900s, or end of the 90s.
and Reg, right behind you, was asking about the cemetery just today.
Oh.
So your timing is perfect.
Oh.
I do.
Reg, do you care to take a look?
Oh,
Oh, you
can I pick one now? Because I thought Irvin Riss was in charge of this, talk to you.
Oh.
We'll coordinate with
Okay.
him.
And
make
who's
sure
that?
Irvin.
Rish.
Up there in Winston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's right next to his land there.
Oh, okay.
So I've talked to all those people, because I live there, I've been there 30 years, and I want to die. I mean, I don't want to die, but when I do, that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
So these are, did you say they were old cemeteries?
This one here was from the Beaver Creek Cemetery. These are some fairly new graves right here, but these were all from the Beaver Creek Cemetery.
Okay. What's all this?
This is where we'll put new lots. These are 12 lots in each one.
Oh, okay.
And this one we could probably do a little longer, or make them each 15. I just was quickly making some areas just to see how it would lay out.
Oh, good.
But yeah, all we've done is taken the existing data that's on file and online, and then went out and tied all the monuments, and I kind of cross-referenced them between the information and what the tombstone said.
Wow.
Well, thank you.
Well, I can leave this for you to
Well, I will
look
move
at.
to give you the green light to go ahead and finish the interior section
Okay.
and leave the exterior portions for historical or complimentary persons.
I'll second the motion.
It moved and second to give the green light to Maureen to go ahead with the Winston Cemetery. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
All right, I'll continue working on it. It's
Okay.
been very interesting.
I bet.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Just a little late. Allison, you're on deck.
All right.
The Commissioners' Community Update, where we share with not only our employees but the public and each other what we've been doing for the week. Are you going to add that at the end or
I will put
skip
it
it
to the
all
end, 'cause I
together?
already got Allison here on.
Right, I
Either
think
way,
that's
it's
an
fine.
important
I
part
don't
of
have
the
to get
agenda.
back. And not in a major hurry if you want to go ahead and do that.
No, go ahead.
Okay. All right. I have a whole bunch of stuff because it's been a while since I've been in front of you. So I guess the first thing, probably the most important thing of the day, since the budget was finalized, I was able to get numbers from Debbie last week, and I have the the contract, the MSU contract for you to sign. If you'd be willing to do that today, that'd be fantastic, and then we can get that
Okay.
to Bozeman. And there wasn't any changes. It's the usual contract. They didn't make any changes. So, and then let's see. Trying to think what I want to do next in case I run out of time. So maybe I'll do this next. So earlier, I think it was like early in the summer, in one of our meetings, we were just kind of rolling around some ideas, and it was suggested to me to put together a proposal for an intern. And so I've been busy, and it's been a while since I've met with you, and I know that the budget's been finalized, and maybe there's no money for it, but I always figure if you don't ask, you won't ever know, right? And so maybe you'll quickly turn me down with my proposal, which it doesn't really hurt my feelings because I know money, is the priority, but I thought I'd at least ask. So I put together a proposal, and this would be for an MSU student intern. And so Extension does have an internship program, and it's primarily a summer internship program. Sometimes there's some spring work depending on the intern, so it would take place during the summer of 2018. The cost to host an intern is $4,800, and that includes 320 hours of work, and that also includes, I think, 80 hours of overtime, plus they don't get benefits, but there's some costs, workman's comp, and those sorts of things. So that is basically the package, and MSU takes care of all the paperwork and everything, so they would technically be a MSU employee, but we would house them here. We would provide them with office space, provide them with supplies, materials, whatever. We would be responsible for that, just kind of like similar to my position. So again, cost is $1,800. I kind of wrote up what I viewed their responsibilities would be. Focus would be 4-H and agriculture. Because part of the idea of having an intern is letting them have that experience of what it would be like to be an extension agent. I would envision that individual would design a program either in either one of those areas. They would help with 4-H camp, help with fair, help with carcass evaluation, and then just some of the other ongoing things with the office. Every summer I do a crop insect monitoring program. Thought that would be an excellent experience for the intern. Nitrate testing, going on home field visits with me, just a variety of other work that would give that person some experience, as well as potentially free me up to do some different things during the summer that I often just don't have time for. So anyway, that's my proposal. I guess a couple other things is I had to say by September 1st whether or not I wanted an intern with MSU, so I had to submit that. They do fund several positions throughout the state. I found out last week, because I went ahead and submitted the proposal, not because I didn't have a meeting with you scheduled till today, that my position didn't get funded. Just like everywhere, they are having budget issues, so they only funded 5 positions throughout the state and only 1 in the West, and so mine wasn't selected. So we can still have one, but it would have to be 100% funded by the county. And if you were able to make a decision today, they could still include it in, because they're going to start promoting it at student intern and job fairs, which take place in the fall, and online and all that. So I did talk to the coordinator, and he said, yes, if you could get a decision this week, either way, they could start promoting it as well with the other packages they have. So anyway, that's what I got. Any questions, thoughts?
We are an ag community. The 4-H program has been growing, which is great for our community. It seems to me this is a good use of our money. It's just the wise use of our money is where we really need to be concentrating, and it seems to me that fits that bill. When would be our deadline for a for sure vote on something like this?
What he told me, because I kind of asked him about that, again, they're going to start promoting internships that they know about within the next couple weeks. So if you knew, this week or next, they would include ours in that package or whatever. He said if we knew later in the year, they could probably do a second round. It just may not get the attention that this first group is going to have. They did already schedule interviews for the first round of interns, which is sometime in November. And then, but again, he said, potentially if you still want one, we could do another round. It just might not get the attention that the others have gotten.
So what do we do for housing?
So we have a couple different options. That's part of the application that I had to do with MSU. Is there were several options. I could say that we were going to provide housing, or I could say that it was up to them, or I could say that we would help them. And so I put on there, I indicated that we could assist if necessary as far as helping them contact, find the right people to contact, but I did not say that we would provide housing. Just going to help them get in touch with resources to find housing, basically. And I do think within our budget, it'll be tight, but assuming that they're not, going to want to do a lot of extravagant programming, I think we could come up with, different, I think we could cover in our budget some of the basic costs to just have that person in our office. Like I said, it'll be tight, but I think if we're, smart about it, we can make it work without a problem. We already have an extra computer over there. It's not hooked up to internet yet, but it's there. We just have to figure out how to do it. So I'm gonna probably just share phones and different things like that. So I think it's feasible.
With the housing, we're an hour from Bozeman. We're talking this summer, so it is commutable.
It is, yep.
If they wanted to continue with whatever their housing situation
sure.
is for the summer. As far as the computer, you could just call Josh at EIS.
Mm-hmm.
If he does it over the phone, there's no charge to us.
Okay.
If you can coordinate with him, and of course we have 9 months or so to do it,
Mhm.
if he's already come in for something else, he'll pop over and do it
Mm-hmm.
at an extremely reduced rate.
Yeah.
So, again, we're an ag community. The talk of having a second extension agent has been out there for years now.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a great opportunity for us at a pretty low cost. If we do agree to this, I think we need to be responsible for funding it, because I don't think it's in your budget.
No, it's not.
But I think if ag in Broadwater County is our priority, I think it's an easy one to vote affirmative on.
I'll make a motion to support the external internship proposal from Allison for extension.
Cool, I'll second.
Okay, moved and second to provide an internship for Allison, her department there. Any more discussion? No more discussion, we'll go for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. That's exciting. So
Thank you.
yeah, I'll let MSU know that we're good to go ahead, and so they can include us in their promotion package.
I think we want to go through this first before we
Oh yeah.
make a motion to sign. Oh, Jeff, something else.
Oh, I have lots more.
Okay. go.
Sorry. I haven't met with you since like the middle of July, and there's a lot going on, so I'm sorry. But if you need a moment to sign that, I can pause. And if I don't get to it all, that's fine too. Those were probably the two more important things for the day. If you need to get to the next item.
I will move that we sign the contract with MSU for extension services in Broadwater County as presented.
I'll second.
Moved and second to sign the contract with MSU for the extension service. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
All right, ready for the next thing? Okay, here's another handout for you guys. Sorry, I have lots of stuff today. This is probably the next most important thing. And so Mike's been over a couple times. I appreciate you coming over to kind of visit with us about our office space needs and wants, and trying to help develop a long-term plan for that. And you've asked Mike to kind of come up with a list and maybe even draw out what we would like, which I'll be honest, the drawing it out part kind of got me a little afraid. That's not my area of expertise. But what I did, and there's a couple of things there I wanted to share, and there should be a copy for everyone. Yep. So a couple things that I've discussed with people at various points is so basically to start with as a starting point rather than draw something out is I kind of broke down the buildings, the needs and the wants. So the needs being things that really to make it more functional, what needs to happen. Number one on the list right there is a ADA compliant bathroom. Improve the insulation, improve the heating and cooling functionality of the building, just some things like that that really are more just really need to happen, I think, if it's going to be a long-term place for not only our office, for all the public that does use the building. And then from that, there's more of kind of the wants and things that Tammy and I view as some things that would just be really nice, but, we could do without until the funding gets there, or, might be more of a long-term desires. So some different things on that are just improving the actual meeting space itself, doing some upgrades there, new windows, working on exterior, some things like that probably wouldn't have to be priorities, but at some point probably need to be done, if that makes sense. And then the other thing I included there, which I've discussed, I know we discussed this with you, Mike, and more, is I kind of put together a proposal for that meeting room. Having been there a few years now and dealt with people reserving it, most people are great and they take very good care of it, and we don't have to worry about them, but there's others that don't take care of the room and don't clean up after themselves, and it's pretty frustrating when you walk in and there's cake on the floor, and and then you spend an hour or more sometimes cleaning up after other people. So I think the one thing that Tammy and I would really like to start doing would be a couple things. One, to do some sort of contract, and I threw together a draft there as maybe a starting point that we could build off of on that second page. And then along with that, do a deposit, basically a kind of a cleaning deposit. So if people don't clean up after themselves and don't put all the chairs and tables back the way they were, and we have to spend that time to clean up after other people, that we would get to keep all or part of that deposit. And then also, potentially, maybe even charging a small fee. I think it is a nice opportunity to have a free meeting space in the county. But if we're looking at ways to bring some income in, I think that would be maybe a simple way to do it. As a starting point, I put, maybe somewhere along the lines of $15 to $20 as a per use cost. I got that based off of the school. For the community room, it costs $30, and it's, I would say, probably a little nicer meeting area, better lighted, nicer tables, chairs. There's a projector in there and a screen, things that we don't have. So that's kind of where I got that $15 to $20 was based off of there. I think if we did spend the money to improve it by putting in some of those features, we could charge more, and I think you could potentially get up to the cost of comparable to the school, but I just don't think we're there yet, at least in my opinion. One advantage that we do have compared to the school is they have some restrictions on whether or not you can allow food or what part of the room you can have the food in, where that's one advantage to where we, in our meeting spaces, it doesn't matter, you can have it on the carpet. So I wanted to share that, and I guess in Tammy and I's visioning, if we wanted to do the deposit or the contract is maybe starting in 2018, maybe the first of the year. That was kind of what we were thinking. We do already have a lot of people on the calendar for this year, and rather than surprise them, maybe start in 2018 was our idea. So anyway, does anyone have any questions or thoughts on what I shared?
Not yet. I think this is a good start, though.
Yeah, that's what my hoping is, and I know nothing's gonna happen right away, but Mike's asked a couple times for us to start putting some thoughts together so that we would have another priority. So I guess those were our first thoughts, and we're happy to kind of go from there.
And I kind of talked to Mike a little bit about our last meeting about getting with Travis Rickmeyer to see about getting the ambulance area framed up so we can get it core bonded, so we can save a bunch of money on that heat.
Yeah.
And I did go to the school and look at their rental, I got a copy of their rental policy actually.
Oh, good. Mhm.
And there was a gentleman I met at the earlier conferences this year, and I would assume he will be in Bozeman, that talked about some Main Street grant money that we could use to improve the front of that building. I'll try to contact him next week in Bozeman if he's there. I have his card, so I'll try to get a hold of him.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah, I think even just starting with a couple of things like that would just really make a difference. Yeah, especially the heating in that building would be huge. So, and even something just like even new windows, I think would be, really helpful and improve the heat.
And we'll have to work out some kind of arrangement with the hospital district on what we're gonna do there for.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then, the last thing I'm gonna leave you with, so I already know I've taken up a lot of time. I have a lot of things coming up because I really haven't given you an actual update. And I don't know if you want copies of all of these different flyers, but I'll probably give you the one I'm most excited about. This Saturday we have the training for livestock truck accidents. I don't know if Mike's still here and Ed was here, and so I've been working with Mike and Ed on that. And I'm really excited. We have someone coming in to talk who's presenting. She's a vet. She's really focused on animal care and safety and humane treatment of animals in these sorts of situations. Mike's working on developing a response plan for our county for an event, if and or when it will happen. And so all these pieces are coming together. So I think it would be wonderful if and I know you guys are busy, but if you happen to be available on Saturday, could at least stop by and because I think with all the traffic we see through the county and proximity of Headwaters livestock, I think, and we've had some accidents in the past, I think it's only a matter of time before there's another one, so, and we're all kind of different pieces to the puzzle if an accident wants to happen, so, pretty excited. Other things we have going on, and I do
Can
have.
I ask you one quick question on this?
Absolutely. Mhm.
Would you be sure and send this to, and I'm sure you already have, but Dr. Kim and Dr. Eric?
Yes, I stopped by, yep, and I think,
Perfect.
I need to follow up with them, but I think Dr. Kim is the one that's planning on being there on Saturday.
Good.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep, she's the one on call, so. Yeah, and we've invited livestock inspectors, ranchers, the vet clinic, Headwaters Livestock, obviously our emergency responders as well. We already have people from 4 or 5 different counties who are coming to view it, and so yeah, and it'll be awesome. The afternoon's all hands-on. We have cattle coming in. We are flipping a truck on its side and doing an extrication. We have cattle panels to build containment areas. It's just all going to be really hands-on and really focused. So it's pretty exciting. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Mike, to that?
No, we're gonna have a lunch.
Yeah,
I thought it should be a vegan lunch.
That's apropos.
And then other things going on, this Wednesday we have a canning class at the high school with Old Baldeo Jarl Ed. I do have flyers for that if you want one or any public wants one. That's Wednesday. Next Monday of the first rancher roundtable of the season. MSU Extension beef specialist from Miles City is going to be in town and just wants to meet with ranchers and kind of just have an open discussion about issues that they're seeing, things that she might need to work on, so on and so forth. So that's next week. So flyers for that. And then last other major event coming up within the next month is we had a 4-H open house because the beginning of the 4-H year starts October 1st. So we're already gearing up for new enrollment. We're trying this open house idea at the school on October 9th. And so we're putting that together as well. And I'm sure there's other things too, but I'll stop there and let you ask any last questions if you like.
Could you leave us some of the flyers so we
You
can put
betcha.
them up and
Yeah.
help spread the word?
Yeah, absolutely. I can leave you all these. I just think I have like 3 or 4 of each one, unless you don't want that many. Maybe a couple of each.
That'll work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or more. So,
Do you have any questions about the budget?
I don't think so. I think I understand what you did, and I, looked things over. It'll be tight since I basically am getting by on my cash reserves, but it is what it is. So we'll make it work, and I don't think I have any questions at this time specifically, so.
Just to bring you guys up to speed, I did take our resolution to Allison and shared with her what the plan was already, that we would not be leaving extension high and dry at the end of the year, and we understand that July to November is one of the most expensive and active times for extension. I also suggested that she continue looking for a vehicle, because I think in the long run, finding a vehicle rather than reimbursing mileage will be a big savings to her budget.
Yeah, and I forgot to bring that. I haven't, I did look for a vehicle right after the last meeting that we had when it was mentioned. I did contact Surplus and actually stopped by there. And that was like the week before fair, and then fair happened, and I haven't really had a chance to get back to it. So I know they have their sale like in August or first of the month. So I have a feeling my selections just way shrunk, but I guess I can keep kind of watching and kind of tell them maybe what I'm interested in. So yeah, keep working on that too, and I'll keep looking. So yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do
thank you.
good work.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
Ryan Holm, next.
Morning.
Morning.
This is probably gonna be kinda short because I haven't been able to work for a while, so. As far as everything's operating while I'm gone, it's going fairly well. Just had a couple of minor, maintenance issues to take care of, but that's been done. And, we've been busy, so nobody has time to argue with each other, so they're hauling trash. And that's kind of what I'll talk to you guys about in this update is we've been busy. Up until May of this year, we had, in the data I have in front of me, it only shows 2, but I think since I've been keeping records, there's been 3 months where we've been over 500 tons in a month. And that's in 17 years of keeping records. Since May, we had 501 tons in May, 559 in June, 518 in July, and 550 in August. I don't know if 4 months makes a trend, but that's a lot of garbage. We were awful close to hitting the 5,000 ton mark last year. In fact, if you look at the fiscal year, we did. This year, I think we'll be really close to that 5,000 ton mark as well. Just to put that into perspective, in 2008, we had 4,100 tons in 2008. That's a pretty good increase that we've seen over time. What causes that increase? I think partially it's just growth. And the other part of it is we're still cleaning up after that hailstorm we had last fall. The roofing jobs that we've seen are starting to dwindle down. I think we're kind of on the tail end of those, but who won't say we get another one before the end of the month. To see a 10% increase in the year in trash, in the amount of garbage we handle, doesn't necessarily mean it's a 10% increase in expense, but it's probably a 4 or 5% increase in expense, if you look at the whole picture. It's more wear and tear on our equipment. And it's busy. I think I just looked, in August, there were 23 working days in August, and we made 21 trips to the landfill. That's a lot of wear and tear on equipment. How much longer can we do that with the equipment we have? I don't know. We're in the process of putting together a RFP for our garbage services, our landfill contract primarily. There might be some unique options to that this year, I don't know. but hopefully they will allow us to keep doing business the way we are, or make some improvements to kind of do things differently. But, so that's where I'm at right now. Like I said, I haven't been around for a month and a half, so the day-to-day things are kind of new to me. But, like I said, everything's been going well. Still got a couple of fans sitting on the ground up there that haven't been installed. They've been purchased, they've been delivered, they just need to be installed. And, you know, Mike says he's been busy doing other stuff. That's fine. We'll make do. But they, doesn't do them well to be sitting on a crate or in a crate outside our building either, so. That's about all I got. Any questions for me?
Have you, what's your plan? What have you been doing with those folks doing the hail repairs and the new construction to ensure that they have the canisters and are paying for those canisters and that waste?
We bill them as we get the invoices, or as we get the projects done, we send them an invoice for that project. Whether they pay that invoice or not, that's what we got a collection agency for, I guess. So far, most of them have been pretty good about paying. You know, the private people that do their own on the weekend, if we catch them, we bill them. But catching them is the hard part. That's been the hard part the whole time. We've seen a lot of demolition, construction debris in our rural canisters. We have an idea where it came from, but we can't pinpoint it, you know, so we just deal with it. And when they call for a canister, that's an easy one, because we know where it's at and we know how much it is. It's when they think they can haul it themselves that it gets difficult. But
All right.
Are those guys building out in the flats, are they dumping at the transfer station, or do we know where they're going to with all their waste?
some of them bring their stuff up, and we build them, and they paid. Others, I haven't touched base with them, you know. And I have not seen the final list from revenue on what will be added to the 2018. I haven't seen that list yet from them, so I don't know where we're at with that. But it's substantially larger than it was the year before. The year before, they told me they had 6 new constructions in Broadwater County. I said, I can see 6 from my office.
Right.
Is that revenue does that?
Yeah.
They should be able to see 6 on their way driving out here from Helen if they aren't. I can see 8 in one spot.
Yeah. So, that's the key, is getting them on the list sooner.
Yeah.
And Jess has been really good about it. She's found properties that have not been on the list for years, just in her driving around. And they're supposed to be seeing everything every 2 years. So the longest anything should ever go is 2 years.
Right.
But when you find a piece of property that's been sitting there and people have been living there for 30 years and they've never been on the tax roll or the solid waste roll, somebody dropped the ball along the way. And we've found those.
That's good.
So I really don't know what my revenue picture is gonna look like in the future, other than it will probably be better than what it was this year. On our fee situation, it'll probably be a little higher this year, just because there's more people calling for canisters. You know, I think if we had more canisters to deliver, we'd be busier. But, you know, finding the time to haul them is hard. The holiday week, we had one, there was a trailer house blew over out at the silos, brand new mobile home. They just set it the day before and the wind came up and blew it over.
I've seen it.
So
now.
we had to haul canisters out to get that one cleaned up, and we had to do it after hours, that was the only time we had to do it, especially in a holiday week. Holidays for solid waste means you just have one less day to deal with 7 days worth of trash. So, but we got it done, and that's what we're there for, so.
Any idea when you'll have that information from Department of Revenue?
I was supposed to have it 3 weeks ago,
Okay,
and I haven't seen it yet, so, no.
okay. It'd be nice to have that before the taxes go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any way that we can attach a disposal fee to the septic permit? Or is that?
You could, but just because they put in a septic system doesn't mean there's a house there. Sometimes they put their septic system in and never build a home. Sometimes they get their septic permit and never bothered putting it in. There's, you know, I've beat the bushes hard trying to figure out a way to get them into the list and get that construction debris covered. And, you know, without forcing contractors to come in and register with us or something, or developing a building permit program where you just charge them the disposal fee for construction. I don't know. Or just obtaining a building permit, so we know that there's
Well,
construction going on.
well, see, you could do that through the electrical people. Because that's how they find out where I'm working, is they go through electrical permits. And then that's when your plumber, I mean, once you file the electrical permit, then your plumbing guy knows and your electrical guy knows if they happen to talk to each other. But I don't know if we can pull that way. I mean, it'd be the same thing with you can drill a well and put in a septic and just bring your mobile home and hook it up to the septic,
Right.
which I think is something that they're doing, but most of those,
The one thing that I've seen happen a lot in this county, and it's a way to beat the system, is people parking RVs. There's one on the way to the canister site at Toston, just in the Toston city limits. There's 4 or 5 of them just the other side of the Silos restaurant there, right behind Earl Campbell's place. There's 4 or 5 fifth wheels parked there that they're living in them. They're residents, but they're not paying taxes and they're not paying solid waste fees because there's no way to tag it on there.
but they are using solid waste, they are using solid waste facilities as far as household stuff goes.
But they're not paying for it.
And 4 or 5 of them in one lot amounts to a significant
That's
amount.
$600 of revenue that we don't see.
So the thinking is, what you're kinda saying is if we did attach it to the septic permit, chances are we'd catch a good number of those.
I don't know if they have a
Fifth
septic permit
wheels.
out there on those RVs. You know, all you gotta do is hook onto it and drag it down to town pump and dump it.
Right, some of them do probably, not all of them for sure,
But
but it's a way to catch some of them. Might not be a bad
But
thing
You could
itself.
certainly monitor that. If they have a septic permit, then you could monitor how many people they have there, and I don't know how you would attach that to that property.
the way our resolution is set up now, it has to be a residence. We can't put it on the property. So there has to be something there that we can attach it to. Now, if they build a pole barn, you know, that could be the way to do it, I don't know. But
See, because that's what a bunch of them do out there too, is they build a pole barn and then they park the mobile in there, and then when they go to, they don't even put in a septic, they just go dump it when they can dump it. I imagine they have water, but they probably don't have a septic.
Well, I caught one residence out there in the Silos because I went to a rummage sale there. They had their door open. One side of the pole barn, the lean-to side, was all bedroom and living area. The back of it, they had a full kitchen. I mean, it was a house, but they could park their RV in there, and it was a garage. And they weren't paying taxes on that as a residence. They weren't paying solid waste fees, nothing. So I brought that to the attention of revenue, and they went out and looked, and they weren't very happy with them. I'm getting solid waste fees out of it now, so I don't care.
but we've already lost how many ever years
Yeah.
we've already been in there.
And that's the thing, when you catch people like that, they don't complain about it. Because you just look at them and say, well, this property has been this way since when? And I said, do you want us to go back and charge you for every year that you had it that way? Or do you just wanna start paying what you owe now and be done with it? And they go, oh, okay.
I wonder if this could be as simple too as changing the resolution language. You just mentioned that our resolution states you have to be a resident. Maybe we address this differently than just has to be a resident.
I don't know how you track the RV stuff. You know, because they say, oh, we're just parked here for 14 days like the law allows it.
But we don't have that kind of a campground. So I wonder if the resolution could state use of land for residential purposes. That could take in the pole barn, could take in the RV.
I don't know.
I don't either, but might be worth looking into as, you know, in lieu of the alternative.
Tax them. Revenue should be figuring out how to get taxes out of them.
It doesn't benefit revenue, so they're probably not gonna put any time
Well,
into that.
It
I mean,
does if they're able
the
to tax them.
taxes would, right, the
You know,
septic permit
if
or
people are living in
the
an
solid waste, no.
RV as a residence, they should be paying residential tax.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their laws are with RVs
Don't
that
either.
could be temporary.
I've learned more about residential tax law in this job than I ever cared to.
Yeah. Are there other counties that you could reach out to and ask a question?
Probably, but I haven't. Solid Waste doesn't have a good working group like the rest of the county entities do. And I don't know why.
Might be one of those things you could do though while you're recuperating. Just pick up the phone and ask some of those other counties. Some of them, somebody might have come up with something smart, innovative, new, that we could adopt.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things I gotta deal with.
Yeah. Well, if you could do that, it might be a good use of your time, so.
When does solid waste board meet?
The fourth Tuesday of the month.
And where's that at?
We meet in the poker room up with Betsy,
At what time?
7 o'clock.
So bring your cash so you can buy some chips.
We don't play poker.
Oh, you don't? All right. So it's just business?
Trashy business, but just business.
No, that stinks.
Got a million of them.
Any other questions for Brian? No. Thank you.
You bet.
Keep healing.
Will
Thank
do.
you.
I'll go back and see the doctor on the 26th. Maybe he'll let me do more than shuffle papers.
Teresa, Public Health. Running a little late here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so lots of stuff going on at Public Health. Of course, right now is the beginning of school, so we're getting all the immunizations ready for the kids. Pretty much have them done. Diane put together a most awesome system last year because it was such a nightmare last year with all of us being new. She put together an awesome system where she just rolls each grade ahead, so you know, takes out the students that move and adds the new students, and we're almost done. Where last year it took about 3 months for us to like get all the stuff done. So it's awesome. She's done a great job with that. So kudos to Diane. I am starting my foot clinic. I think I mentioned that to you guys before. That's going to be the last Monday of the month, starting on the 25th of September. I didn't know we were supposed to bring stuff, but I have lots of posters that I've created for the foot clinic and the flu clinics. So this year, instead of doing just the 2 clinics, flu clinics at the clinic, you know, I'm actually going to do a mobile clinic with, in conjunction with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And that one we're hoping to have right down by the City Hall on November 3rd, because that's the day people pay their water bill. And so, so Blue Cross Blue Shield is going to bring their van. It's all equipped with all the temperature probes and everything we need. And they do it for free. And if you have anybody that can't afford their flu vaccine and doesn't have insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield will actually pick that up for us and reimburse us for it at our regular private pay rate. So that's really awesome. And we just, you know, basically do the same thing. FEP and IZ are requiring a lot more from us this year, so we have to take pictures, have the proper signage and stuff like that. And you know, it's not all about, did you just do this? Now they want to see it. So we get out the signs, you know, do all that stuff and take pictures, and then we have to send that in as part of our grant. So everything this year is more accountability. You can't just say, yes, I did this, you know. They want to see it. They want to see what's going on. So so I'm actually going to have 4 flu clinics, 2 in the clinic, and then 2, I'm having 1 at Townsend Drug, and then the mobile one, and then we'll do home visits and all that stuff as well. Businesses, we had several businesses last year. Oh, and going back to the flu clinic, or the foot clinic, I'm actually going to do Silver Springs. They currently are using some ladies from Helena, and they charge $35. And, you know, we can do it cheaper than that and still make money. I mean, you know, if I do 4 an hour at $15, that's $60. Pays my wages plus. So, and the equipment for it cost me less than what I even thought it was going to. So, what else? So, making lots of posters. I already hung some of them up here and around town. So for the foot clinic first, just in case we end up changing the dates for the flu clinics, but we pretty much have them tentative. I just need to talk to Mike Evans and make sure that it's okay that we park right there on the east side of the City Hall, because they have like 25 feet, and then the next 25 feet belongs to the church, but all we need is just enough for that van to sit in there and put the signs out on the sidewalk or street or whatever and take pictures and whatnot. So as far as my budget, I think you guys all know I'm a miser. So it's going pretty well. Currently I'm redoing, which we have to do quite often for public health, because you know we have 4 grants, and so a lot of times we end up kind of shifting the money around as we go almost every quarter. So which money's coming out of which area. So I'm actually working on that right now with Debbie. Just looking at the numbers, you know, for the first quarter and seeing what adjustments have to be made. Since we have, you know, income coming in from different places, trying to use that income rather than taking it out of public health. And I know originally all my wages were supposed to be coming out of public health. And I would say less than 50% of my wages are coming out of public health now, which is the general fund, so that's good.